Hello and welcome back to the channel, and I just finished playing Mario and Luigi Brothership. Mario and Luigi Brothership is the latest installment in the series of Mario and Luigi RPG games. It's been how many years? Like maybe 14, 17 years since the last original Mario and Luigi game. I know I'm super late on this one, but you guys know that I don't get review codes for jack shit, so you're gonna have to be patient with me when it comes to video game reviews because I like to take my sweet ass time with video games. This is a pretty long game. There's been a lot of different discussions around the game, especially the IGN review that kind of left a lot of people with a bit of a bad taste on their mouth. But what do I think? I'm a big Nintendo fan. You could call me a Nintendo fanboy, a Nintendo dick rider. So what does somebody like me have to say about a game like Mario and Luigi Brothership? I think this is gonna be an interesting review because I have a lot of stuff to say about this game. I want to start talking about the game's pros because there's a lot of stuff here that I absolutely loved, that I thought was amazing. For example, the art direction and graphics. I actually really love how the game looks. I know a lot of people were a little bit iffy at first about it, but I think actually seeing it on your TV or even on your Switch screen, it looks absolutely beautiful. I absolutely think it looks gorgeous. Now, it is different from the original games where originally it was more of a pixel art style to it. Here it's more 3D that's trying to give the look of 2D, and I think it absolutely succeeds in trying to give off that style. This game also has a great soundtrack. I absolutely loved most, if not all, the tracks of the game. I will say that I do believe that the battle theme gets a little bit of time to get used to. It's not amazing, it's not the best battle theme ever, but once you start hearing it a little bit more and more, you get used to it and you actually start enjoying it. The game actually has a decent story. Now, it's not amazing. I do believe that in terms of Mario and Luigi stories, it's not the best of them all. I still believe Bowser's Inside Story has the best story in all the Mario and Luigi games, but the story here is still decent. It's still very fun, it's still charming. The story is mostly about connections. I think it's a sweet message that fits the game's art direction and style. I think the side characters are really cool. This time around we do have Starro as our main guy throughout the story. This time it's a different character, Snoutlet, who I actually enjoyed. I thought he was pretty fun. I thought he was enjoyable for the most part. He has a bit of annoying parts in the beginning of the game, but for the most part, I still enjoyed his character. I'm talking about the general cast, you know, overall, the other side characters. I think they're all fun, they're quirky, they're enjoyable, they have a lot of personality. I actually enjoy the characters here, especially the villains, the Extension Corp, which, you know, Extension Corp, Extension Cord. They were really funny, and I absolutely loved their designs. I thought that out of all the characters, they all look great, but I think the Extension Corp absolutely look amazing. They are probably some of the best designs in the entire game. I think the gameplay and combat is actually really fun. There's a little bit of an issue I have with it, but I'll talk about it later. But for the most part, the combat is still fun. The bros attacks are back, they're still fun, they're still as epic as they usually are. Overall, the combat in the Mario and Luigi game is not going to change a lot. It's going to stay as close to formula as it's always going to. So does that surprise anybody? Not really, but I still wanted to clarify that the combat here is still good. While there are a couple of changes that are a little bit confusing, that even though you do get used to them, they are still kind of confusing. I absolutely love the boss fights. I think they're all very creative. I think they're all very fun. There is one that does get a bit annoying. It's not that it's even that hard. It's just very long because it takes a lot of shit to do to get over with it. But other than that, I still think the boss fights are genuinely very fun and very entertaining. But we got to talk about that Luigi logic. Holy shit, I love this new addition to this game. Luigi logic is pretty much when you're stuck at a certain part in the game and Luigi starts getting an idea on how to solve this puzzle or how to solve this area of the game. I think it's great. I absolutely love it, and also the more attention Luigi gets, the better for me. So I absolutely love the Luigi logic for that. But also, I think Luigi logic is also very creative, and it does help get through the game a little bit quicker, in my opinion. So Luigi logic as a new addition, I think it's good. I don't know if it could work for future Mario and Luigi games, but I definitely loved how it worked in this installment. But it is that dreadful time, you know, the cons of the game, because there's quite a few here that were definitely disappointing. I'm like, why? One of the first cons of the game, and really, I don't know how people are gonna feel about this. It is an RPG, and a lot of RPGs tend to be this way already, so I don't even know if I'm being a little bit too picky with this, but the game does take a bit to get going. And what I'm talking about is that the game fills you with a lot of tutorials at first. I almost wish that there was an option to kind of shut off certain parts of the tutorial. It's a Mario and Luigi game. I don't think it gets any more complicated other than it being a Mario and Luigi game. So the fact that you kind of have to go through all the typical stuff, okay, can we get through this already? It's like, I'm ready to start the actual game, you know? I'll say this, while I enjoy Luigi and Luigi logic, I do believe that he is a little bit awkward to control at first. The way Luigi worked in the past games is that all of Mario's moves kind of worked around you pressing the A button, and Luigi's moves worked around that you had to press the B button, especially in combat. During combat, you usually press A to control Mario. When you're in combat and you're controlling Luigi, you only have to press B. The problem is that what they did here is that when you're playing as Mario, it's the same. You press A for everything. But when you're playing as Luigi, when you want to pick an attack or a move, you still have to press A. But once you're actually controlling Luigi, doing combos, doing jumps, or using the hammer, or using the bros attacks, you do have to press B. It's a little bit awkward. The way that Luigi moves around the actual game's world is also a little bit awkward. In past games, Luigi is always constantly behind Mario no matter what. In this game, Luigi can actually kind of get lost or get stuck on something and you have to go back and get him. It's a bit annoying, you do get used to it, but it's still one of those things where it's like, it worked so well in the past that it just seems weird that they're having such a hard time doing it with this. I don't know, I don't get it. This game actually has side quests, and the side quests are 50-50. There's a couple that I actually thought were really enjoyable. There's a side quest related to Bowser Jr. that I absolutely loved. There's a couple of side quests during the game that are like that, but there's also a lot of side quests in the game that are very simple. That's like, I'll go help this person do this, or go help this person get over this thing, and it's like, I don't care. Now, what's a little bit sucky about this is that there are a couple of side quests in the game that have time limits, that you actually have to do the side quest right now before you move on into the story, because if you move on to the story, the side quest does not return. Like, you cannot do that side quest ever again. And even if you think you can do the side quest by the end of the game, oh, forget about it. You cannot do any of those side quests ever again once you are at the end of the game. I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's like, just let me play the side quests whenever I want. Why are you trying to limit me? But the one thing that I know is going to tick off a lot of people, and it definitely ticked me off a little bit. It did not make me hate the game whatsoever, but it definitely was the major thing about the game that really made me detract some points, because I was like, I'm enjoying this, even though I have a few issues here and there. I'm still enjoying my time with the game. But we get to this one part of the game, and I'm like, okay, this is just getting obnoxious. The game's third act drags like a motherfucker. This third act just seems to not wanting to end for most of its runtime. I'm not kidding. And here's the thing, I'm still having a lot of fun during the third act. I'm still having a lot of fun with the characters. I'm still having a fun time with the combat. Around this act is when Bowser really starts becoming an actual part of the story. But you're just dragging this shit out more for the game to be longer, and I'm not enjoying that. And it's specifically more annoying when the game tries to end like 2 different times before getting to the actual ending. What the fuck is this? Is this Return of the King with like its 5 to 6 different endings? Like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm not kidding, y'all. This game has at least 2 times in the third act where you're like, okay, I think it's about to end. I think I'm in the end of the game. And the game says, bitch, are you fucking stupid? No, there's still much more to do. And there's a specific moment in the third act that I'm like, now, why did you do this? Like, why are you doing this? Game, I'm loving you right now, and you're making me love you less by doing this shit. There's a point in the game related to Bowser where you have to do a lot of the shit that you did in Act 1 and Act 2 all over again. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I already did this. Why are you making me go back and do this shit again? I know the game has a lot of backtracking, and I don't mind it, but the bullshit that they pull off at the beginning of Act 3, I'm like, oh, fuck off with this. I've been having a blast with this, and you're just doing this shit to make this shit longer, okay? You didn't have to do this. So when we got to the final boss fight, I was really hoping that the ending was going to be worth it, and you know what? It was actually worth it. The ending is cute, it's adorable, it's charming, and it's even a little bit funny and kind of emotional as well. So even though the third act is filled with a lot of highs but also quite a few lows, still had a lot of fun with the third act, and I thought that the ending was really worth it. The final boss fight is really fun and creative. Yes, the game isn't the hardest shit ever, but really, it's a Mario and Luigi game. These games aren't like the most hard games in the world. They just challenge you enough to where it's not an entire breeze of the game to go through. So at the beginning and during Act 1 and Act 2, I was really loving this game. I was ready to give this game a 9 out of 10. And honestly, if the third act wasn't the way it was, this game could have been a 10 out of 10 for me. But again, with some of the issues that I already listed, and that third act just being an absolute drag. And if I still enjoyed it, the third act still drags too much, and it makes you backtrack too many times, and it starts introducing new stuff out of the bloom that I'm like, really? Now you're introducing this? Like, now you want me to explore this new area? It's like, we're at the end of the game. Why are we doing this? So by the end, I'd have to give Mario and Luigi Brothership an 8 out of 10. Now, an 8 out of 10 is not bad. The game is still great. It's still a lot of fun. It's still an absolutely great game that I would recommend people to play and pick up. But it does have its couple of issues here and there that might be a little bit frustrating for some players. So Mario and Luigi Brothership is a lot of fun, and while it's not a perfect game, I still recommend it to people. It's still a blast of a game. The combat is fun, the characters are fun, the art style is absolutely beautiful. I think the game overall is a good time, but again, some of the issues that I just named are going to be a little bit complicated for some people that are gonna definitely challenge players' patience. But what did you think of Mario and Luigi Brothership? Did you love the game? Did you hate it? Or just kind of in the middle? Let me know down in the comments. I really want to know what you guys think about it. And like always, good day, good night, and stay safe.